The beautiful thing about life is that you can have virtually anything you want, but not everything. It's up to you to decide what path will bring you the most happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment. On this channel, you hear me talk a lot about how I sacrifice happiness for money, how I sacrifice leisure for success on this channel and in my career. Ultimately, you must be willing to sacrifice who you are for what you want to become. And in this video, we're talking about the pros and cons of pursuing career success and money, because life is all about trade-offs like we talked about in the beginning of the video. Stick around until the end and I'm gonna read an incredible passage from Principles by Ray Dalio that I was just reading over, talking about the paradox that we are simultaneously everything and nothing. And I think that perspective will really give you what you need to go out and make that decision. So stick around for the end of the video. I'm gonna break down the 3 pros, the 3 cons in pursuing career success and money. But first, if you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now and destroy the like button. It really helps. The first pro of pursuing career success and money is that if you're anything like me, you derive your sense of fulfillment and purpose from success in your career. As a young male, I'm 25, I make a fair amount of money, and it's really easy to associate my self-identity with my career. I'm a software sales guy, I'm an account executive, I make cold calls, I work hard, and a lot of my sense of purpose and identity comes from that. So if at any point I was fired or I was let go, I would be devastated and probably wouldn't know what to do. So it's simultaneously a pro and a con, but the pro is that if you like to work hard like me, a lot of my fulfillment comes from pursuing my potential. I want to maximize my potential so that I can live my best life possible. I want to have meaningful work and meaningful relationships. And in order to do that, I feel like I need to climb a corporate ladder. I need to start a business for myself. And I need to just have massive success. And right now, the path to that is by performing as well as I can as an account executive, by making as much money as I possibly can and investing all of it so that I can set myself up for later in life. My drug is the future, and the short-term pro is that I need to perform as well as I can, and the better I perform, the happier I become. The con of this mindset is if you derive your sense of fulfillment from success, perhaps that's at the expense of health or relationships. Being that I pursue massive success in my software sales career and also building out this YouTube channel, like I said in the beginning of the video, I need to sacrifice personal relationships, I'm sacrificing social life, and I'd imagine a lot of people sacrifice health, especially those folks who work in high finance on Wall Street. You're working crazy hours and you're sitting in an office in a chair all day like me, and perhaps that could be bad for your health, that could be bad for your relationships. So the pro is being driven by success can accumulate wealth, but the con is that that could be at the expense of your health or relationships. So you need to decide what you value and what means more to you. The next pro is that the more success you accumulate in your career, the more money you make, the more time that's gonna buy you later in life. If you're super driven like me and trying to get ahead earlier in life, ultimately I'm doing this to set myself up for later in life so that when I'm in my 40s, when I'm in my 50s, I'm not necessarily a slave to a corporation and I don't have to work 1,000 hours a week in order to send my kids to college. Ultimately, the more money you make, the better area code you're gonna be able to live in, the better school you're gonna be able to send your kids to, the higher social standing you're gonna have, so the better relationships you're most likely gonna have from a social standpoint. But the con of this is that even though you're buying yourself more time later in life, you potentially could be losing time in the short term at the expense of missing your kids growing up in regards to not finding those meaningful relationships earlier in life. So the pro of achieving success and pursuing money is that you are buying yourself more time later in life, but at the expense of losing out on specific moments in time in the short term. At 25, as fun as it sounds to go out on the weekends, get super hammered, meet girls, bring them back, do whatever, have all of that. That sounds fun. It sounds fun to go on trips, go on skiing trips, even though I don't ski, go to beaches, go visit mountains, whatever that may be. Go traveling. At the time in my life, in my mid-20s, that's the time to do that. That's when society says, hey, go travel, go do all those things. But I'm missing out on all of those experiences because I'm hyper-focused on success in my career so that I can buy myself more time later in life. So you need to decide what means more to you short-term happiness or long-term satisfaction and fulfillment. So it's really up to you to decide the pro and the con. And I'm trying to shape this pro/con and how it's all trade-offs. Life's all about trade-offs because you can have as much or as little as you want. Final pro is that money will buy you freedom. The more you put into your career, the more wealth and money you can make. That will buy you freedom in the form of time later in life, but also the ability to live where you want, the ability to do what you want, whenever you want, not have to sit in meetings that suck that you don't want to be on. I definitely have meetings throughout the course of my week that I see and say, I don't want to do that, but I have to at this point because I'm trying to achieve that level of success so that I can do whatever I want. The con of this is that once you do achieve that level of financial independence, financial freedom, a lot of people go in defense mode. I see a lot of people that once they hit that $1 million net worth mark, they say, you know what, I have something to lose. I don't want to lose it. And you start playing defense and you start getting complacent and you're in your 50s and you say, you know what, I don't really have a purpose. I have bad health and I don't really know what's going on. And people turn to drinking, people turn to destructive habits. And once you get complacent, once you lose your why, once you lose your sense of purpose, then I would argue life becomes less meaningful. And that's why I made a video recently talking about the problem with retiring early. When you get your sense of satisfaction and fulfillment like I do pursuing success, you don't do it for the money. You're doing it for the fulfillment of maximizing your potential. And if you feel that you get to a certain level of net worth and wealth accumulation that you no longer need to do it, then you'll lose your sense of purpose, which is a con. But the pro of that is that you won't have to report to anyone. So it's a constant trade-off. Those are the 3 pros and cons I could think of when pursuing massive success in your career and money accumulation. If you stuck around to this point, I'm happy you had, because now we're going to talk about this paradox. Realize that you are simultaneously everything and nothing, and you need to decide what you want it to be. I'm going to read this passage. It's a little long. It's by Ray Dalio Principles. It's a book I keep coming back to, and it really gave me the perspective to think, wow, life is crazy. I need to share this. And I'm going to read it right here. It is a great paradox that individually we are simultaneously everything and nothing. Through our own eyes, we are everything. For example, when we die, the whole world disappears. So to most people and to other species, dying is the worst thing possible. And it is of paramount importance that we have the best life possible, like we've talked about in this video. However, when we look down on ourselves through the eyes of nature, we are absolutely no significance. It is a reality that each one of us is only about 1 in 7 billion of our species alive today, and that our species is only about 1 of 10 million species on the planet. This is when it starts to get crazy. Earth is just one of about 100 billion planets in our galaxy, which is just one of about 2 trillion galaxies in the universe. Now the numbers are getting astronomical. And our lifetimes are only about 1/3000, so 1 of 3,000 of humanity's existence, which is only 1 of 20,000 of the Earth's existence. In other words, we are unbelievably tiny and short-lived, and no matter what we accomplish, our impact will be insignificant. At the same time, we instinctually want to matter and to evolve. And we can matter a tiny bit. And it's all about those tiny bits that add up to drive the evolution of the universe. The question is how we matter and evolve. Do we matter to others who also don't matter in the grand scheme of things, or in some greater sense that we will never actually achieve? Or does it not matter if we matter, so we should forget about the question and just enjoy our lives while they last? I did a poor job reading that because I was trying to look at you while also reading. Ray Dalio, if you don't know who he is, his net worth is about $17 billion, founder of Bridgewater, one of the world's largest hedge funds. And he talks about his principles that guide his life and his decisions. And he says, embrace reality and deal with it. And that reality shapes how the world works. So for example, knowing the difference between good and bad. When he went to Africa and he saw a pack of hyenas attack a wildebeest, it was a visceral reaction of, wow, that's super sad. But in reality, it's good because that needs to happen. It's a circle of life. And in our own lives, no matter what we do, we are insignificant. There are the few of us that will stand out and live forever, like the Jeff Bezos of the world. But think about how many Sumerians you know from 100 years ago. You can't name a single one. Just like in the next 400 to 500 years, you're going to look back and say, oh, the Americans, we were just a little blimp in the long time period of history. So no matter what you actually do, it's insignificant. But while we're here, that's the question we need to ask is, how do we have some form of mattering? What matters? And really, with our one life, should we pursue material, money, or should we pursue intrinsic? And it's important to know the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And that's why my premise and really final point of this video is that I pursue success and money because it brings me fulfillment, not for the actual byproduct itself. If the money wasn't there, I would still do what I'm doing. I would still make videos every day. I'd still work in software sales. Maybe I would do something different, but I'm gonna leave it there. I know this video is super high level and probably lost a lot of you along the way, but if you're still with me, thanks so much for watching. Would love to hear what you think in the comments below. If you watched to this point, comment a space emoji below. A space emoji like universe, because we just got super abstract, super extraterrestrial, and I think a space emoji would be super fitting. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to smash the like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and join networks and find meaning together. See you in the next video. Bye.